Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast by Chase. We don't really have a name right now, all right? We're still working on that. If you have a great name idea, why don't you just tell it to me, because that would be pretty damn awesome. But as of right now, we're just going to call it Chase's Podcast. The Podcast by Chase. Chase's Podcast by Chase. You know what I mean? There's a million different versions of that. But in the future, what I'll be doing, just so you guys get a gist of what this podcast is actually all about, we'll have guests who have stuff to say about things, all right? It's that simple. By things, I mean, they'll probably talk about they'll probably talk about their profession or their job or something like that and give us like a real insight on that thing, you know? I don't want to hear the thing where they go, oh, it just makes me feel really good when I do that. You know what? You might feel fulfilled by whatever you're doing, but no one goes into work every single day legitimately and goes, well, I feel really good about this and this, it feels really great. No, you don't, man, because no, you don't. You just don't. I know I have a pretty sweet job. I enjoy my job, which we'll get to later. But there are definitely plenty of days where I think, oh my God, I might be working with an idiot. Or, oh my God, I suck at my job. Or, oh my God, I did not answer that email. Or that guy won't. Or that girl won't answer my email. And blah, blah, blah. I want you to get an idea of what it's actually like in like the job world for people. The job world. I mean like the careers world. Because I worked as a food expediter, as they called it, which is just basically a glorified food runner at a restaurant. You know, everyone's got to do a restaurant job or something like that. But when you actually get like past the college stuff, or if you went to college and you're getting into the career, you're getting into career mode. You know, I needed help with that. I didn't finish college, and I really needed help with somebody who would like get me through. Like, okay, I know in your head that you're thinking like you get this job and then you just do it the rest of life and and then you just die, you know, you're dead. Congratulations, you lived. That's just not true. It's not even remotely true. Okay, don't worry. What actually happens is there's a lot of space in between to learn about stuff. And that's why I want to bring these people on here. But you know what? They're not here today because this is the first episode and I want to introduce myself and I want to interview myself. I want to talk to myself about myself, which is really good for my anxiety. What exactly are we going to talk about though, other than like just jobs? Because that doesn't sound all that interesting. It's not. So we're going to talk about like news and lifestyle and money and stuff like that. Because, you may not have a place that you go to all the time to hear about this kind of stuff that you might trust. And I don't know if you trust me, but we're going to work on it, okay? That's what a relationship is all about. So that's what we're going to do. There's going to be other subjects that we're going to go into the weeds about because I don't want you to like sit here and learn the whole time because that's a classroom and I hate classrooms. I hate classrooms more than you. I guarantee you that I hate classrooms more than you do. I hate listening to people talk about a subject they're not even remotely thrilled about. You know what I mean? They got to do it all day with a bunch of kids. I'm on my phone. Oh my God, a teacher. Oh, fuck you, teacher. It's my phone. My parents bought it for me. You know what I mean? That was me. I'm not going to lie. But we'll talk about stuff that's funny. You know what I mean? I want you to laugh. I don't want you to sit there and be like, I am learning. I am plugged in. I am learning. That sucks. So, here's what I really want you to get out of this podcast. Like, let me like lay it out. All right. You'll laugh. All right. You'll definitely laugh. And then you'll probably think about what I said later. And that'll be good. That you can think about the thing that I said later and go, wait a second, that might have helped. Or that might help me with blank. Because later on, when the laughs are like, you know, all faded, you might find the actual value. That way, after you're sitting at home, all right, it's night. You just did your little face wash routine. Do a little face wash. I do that too, so I can't even make fun of you. You brush your teeth. You know, electric toothbrush. No. You watch your night show, which for me right now, it's the Chef Show. Thank you to my girlfriend who pointed that one out to me because I love Jon Favreau and I love food. And the Chef Show is both of those things together in one beautiful sandwich. Food. So then you're just, you're lying there, you're having that existential crisis moment about how your boss fucking hates you or how your car is a piece of shit or how Mason went to see that Joker movie with fucking Jenny? What? Yeah. Man, fuck Mason. Just kidding. But you've been there. We've all been there. I can't believe she went to see that movie with him. And you know what? You'll be over that, because you'll think about something that I said today that was funny. And you'll actually have listened to what I was saying so that you can go, oh my God, that was funny, but man, I think I might use that in my life. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. And it would be really great because you know what? And I'm going to talk from your position because I talk about it for myself, positive affirmations. I deserve to be happy. All right. I deserve to be happy and financially responsible. I deserve to be happy, financially responsible, and or financially independent because I know that money brings a little bit of stability. It's just the truth. And as soon as you get that stability, you're like, that feels pretty damn good. And then, you deserve to feel good about, I deserve to feel good about my job. I deserve to feel good when I get here and that I feel like I'm accomplishing something worthwhile. I deserve to practice good mental, social, physical habits. You know what I mean? Just in general. I'm going to keep that one general. And of course, I deserve to feel good about myself. Laugh and feel good about yourself, all right? As long as you're practicing those things. Because you know what? Shit like that is fucking cool. And it feels really good. It does. It really does. It helps me. But before we get, all into that deep stuff and whatever, I want to interview me, all right? So, Chase, why don't you go ahead and tell me about yourself? Oh, okay. Where do I even start? I'm 26 years old, all right? At the time of this filming, I'm 26, living in beautiful San Diego. I love it here. It's such a great area, especially because they don't really have winter or fall, apparently. I'm recording this a few days before Halloween, and today was like mid-70s with a little breeze. Darn. I love all types of music, and those who know me know that I love 311. Whoa. Yep, you just had that mental picture in your head when I said that. I love sports. I love my Oakland Athletics. I love my Oakland Raiders. Let's go, Oakland. But I did grow up a huge Laker fan, which is going to upset some people for sure, especially those who are Warrior fans. Oh, Lakers, stupid. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I've heard that one before. I could feel it. I'm also a huge fan of Saturday Night Live. It's like one of my favorite shows it is my favorite show of all time. The goal in my life would be to be on Saturday Night Live. And if that isn't your goal too, then you're just not funny. I'm kidding. I love Saturday Night Live. I love to even just be a writer on that show. That would be so much fun. It's so much work, and it's so interesting to me how they get through each episode, and the jokes are just, I love that improv. It's great. What do I do for work, though? What I do for work is I basically work for like 3 companies, all right? I get this question a lot because some people that I do know don't fully understand the encompassing thing. One of those companies is called Ignite Now Media. Ignite Now Media actually runs this studio, all right? Ignite Now Media has a show called, they have Lifestyle San Diego. They have The American Dream, which is a huge show across the nation. There's a lot of people on that show, and it's definitely like that's their big one. I actually used to host on that show back before there, went through some changes, so that was really fun. It's cool to see them continue to grow. I don't do a whole lot for them right now. I do communicate with a lot of people that I end up working with, like with editors and stuff. Shouts out to my boy Miguel. I work with Mutual Omaha Mortgage and Synergy One Lending. Those are my other 2 like mains. They're kind of separate from Ignite Now Media because Ignite is like media and the other 2 are lenders. And I really work for like the main, which is Synergy One Lending. Synergy One is like all about like forward progressive mortgagey stuff. which is why it's a good segue to talk about my main show that you may or may not have heard of already. It's called This Week Today. This Week Today is only like 2.5, 3, 4 minutes at the most. I talk about real estate, I talk about mortgage, and I talk about finance. And that's really you can see right behind me, this is what it looks like. And it's funny, and it's like it's got Last Week Tonight and Daily Show vibes from it, you know? But it's not dirty because I am sponsored by lenders and not sponsored by, you know, Comedy Central or HBO. But, you know, hopefully one day I'll be able to tell those kinds of jokes. But what I want to do every episode is just kind of play you guys a quick clip from that whatever episode we're talking about. You know what I mean? So we'll just play a clip from last week's episode or this week's episode right about now. Non-qualified mortgages, subprime mortgages. What's the difference? A lot, actually. While some see non-QM loans as a repackage of debt bomb beauty subprime mortgages, others are actually fully aware that it still takes a lot of red tape to get yourself a sparkly new non-QM mortgage. So, why am I reading on Bloomberg about risky mortgage bonds are back and delinquencies are piling up? Look, I read this article. After that spotlight tagline, delinquencies for non-QM are higher. It's true. Than your standard Fannie Mae loans. But there are numerous quotes in there like, it's not the subprime we remember from 06 and 07, and the non-QM bond market is, for now at least, way too small to cause a kind of broader disruption, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture. So they're not toxic, but it's important to remember that non-QM loans are riskier for both lenders and borrowers, but not risky enough to cause an 08 class of economic downturn. Okay, so now you guys have seen me or heard me, whatever. If you're watching this, you can see it. If you're listening, you can hear it. That's what sentences are for. That's what they do. Thank you so much for the anatomy thing, Chase. You're such a great teacher. I have another venture. It's outside of the realm of three, as I was talking about earlier, like mutual, synergy, ignite, kind of, which is kind of a cool name for a show, the realm of three. Sounds like a Dungeons & Dragons thing, to be honest, but it was originally called Money Millennial, okay? And it's basically a show where I talk to the youth of the nation, and I try to get them youths to, like, give a shit about their money and the money habits and understanding stuff like that, because everyone is like, well, they don't care about their money and they don't want to be homeowners. They just want to spend money on avocado toast. I'm not even going to talk about how stupid that sounds to me. But you know what? The truth is that not a lot of people my age really want to talk about that kind of stuff. It is so true. I could use a lot of scenarios right now from people that I know personally that have such a hard time talking about their money problems or just money in general. Not even money problems, just money. And to be honest, I don't really want to do that because it's not useful, and I don't want to embarrass them because there's no reason to like point them out exactly, because most people my age don't want to talk about it. It's just true. I hate talking about it too. I hate talking about my own money stuff, but we'll get into that later. The other thing is, I think that I wasn't really consistent with Money Millennial as much. It's hard when you're like producing your own show, like all the way through. I did get help from like editing and stuff, but when you're writing and you're directing and you're in it, which is basically what I do for all these companies, I just create all this video content. I don't do loans. You know, I don't do loans. No, I don't do loans. I don't do real estate, anything like that. But I do help you guys learn about it. And I think it's important because I'll be a homeowner one day, and I already have the leg up on a lot of people simply because I know how things go down. But because you don't work at a lender, you don't work in real estate per se. If you're working somewhere like my homeboy Max, who works at Perfect Bar, granted he is very smart, he might not know about the whole process, and that's fucking crazy, dude. Getting a home is a fucking crazy process, and it's a lot of money. So I was having a hard time figuring out like how to be like talking about money and buying a home and stuff, not just buying a home, I guess, but money and money habits without like making people feel like shitty or without like making it like I know everything, because I don't know everything. You know, I learn it at the same pace you do. I'm just trying to break it down in a way that makes sense to you, which is essentially how I got to right here to make this podcast. I needed something a little more consistent, and I needed something that was actually funny and like really me. Because I would watch episodes of Money Millennial and I'd be like, yeah, that's kind of me, but it's like not at the same time. It's not really me. So I have this a little bit more long form version of talking about things, and I can actually bring people on and talk about it. And if you're driving your car and you can listen to this, and great. If you want to like sit around and actually watch this face fucking talk constantly, then you must be bored. No, then dude, do it. You know what I mean? Hopefully you can learn, and hopefully you have laughed, and hopefully we can together we can have a relationship, because I'm trying to make it work, Lisa. You know? So shit. That's kind of the skinny of everything. You know, a quick recap: work for Synergy One Lending, work for Mutual of Omaha Mortgage, work with Ignite Now Media. We produce shows, we produce videos, and right now the newest venture is this one's called I don't know what it's called. We obviously don't know what it's called, but you know what? Enough about me. Let's take a deep breath. I'm off my Chase soapbox. I don't need to talk about myself so much. I'm going to move on to something that I need to do like every episode of this podcast. And it's talk about things that I can't really talk about on This Week Today. You can probably imagine that when you're using other places like CNBC or Forbes or Housing Wire, I mean, there's a lot of places that I go to get articles for This Week Today. I come across a lot of articles where I'm like, this is so interesting, but I can't use it for this because I don't have that much time, and it's not the right audience. So this stuff that I'm about to talk about is for you. It's for me. I have to talk about it because I can't keep sending emails to my dad about, this is an interesting article, don't you think? And it's like, my dad doesn't give a shit. I mean, he might, but he doesn't. I mean, he's doing his job. You know what I mean? And most of the time I'm sending stuff that he's like, yeah, already read it. Also, I already knew it before they even wrote it, because he does mortgage and finance, blah, blah, blah. So he knows. You know what I mean? I want to spread this. I want to pass it on to you guys. The first thing I want to talk about was brought to my attention by the homie. His name is Josie. Josie, thanks so much, man. He's the co-founder of Hugs CBD, if you guys are into that kind of stuff. A lot of people recommend it. I've never tried it, but I mean, shoot. Gotta try it one time, man, right? No, really try it, because anxiety is definitely something that runs in my blood right now. So anyway, I'm doing this podcast, and you know, it's kind of sounding a little influencery. I'm like an influencer. Ugh, I hate that word. I hate the word influencer. Anyway, since we're talking about influencers and I'm kind of being that guy right now, I want to bring your attention to an article by Wall Street Journal. Who wrote this article titled, quote, "Online influencers tell you what to buy, comma, advertisers wonder who's listening." Who's listening? Is anyone listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? No, you're not. You want to know why? Let me read a couple quotes and like talk about it. You know, consumers can see if someone honestly cares about a product or whether they're just trying to push it, said Anders. I can't pronounce that last name. Sorry, Anders, who's the chief executive of online stationery retailer, A Good Company. Do I need to explain that one? Yeah, I know. How many times are you on Instagram and you're like, go, that's stupid, there's Mason and Jenny at the movies again. And then you come across the person, I just bought this and it's so good for my face and health. And look at it, it's so good. You don't use that shit. And even if you did, you're not selling me very well. TBH. I'm definitely not going on Instagram to buy anything. I'm definitely going there to get away from reality. Instagram alone has more than 1 billion monthly users. Sorry. Let me read that one more time since I don't know how to speak English. Instagram alone has more than 1 billion monthly users. Media Kicks, an influencer marketing agency, estimates companies will spend between 4.1 billion and 8.2 billion globally in 2019 on influencers. If people aren't buying the whole shtick of like influencers aren't selling shit by the company, like by my company, I just paid an influencer blank amount of money, which we'll also get to. I just paid my influencer this much money and we can't even quantify or like figure out if like are people even listening? Are people even buying it? And so you're still going to spend between 4.1 billion and 8.2 billion on influencers, you brands out there? $4 billion. The low end, $4 billion. Prices per Instagram post. Here you go. Range from $200 for an influencer with as few as 10,000. If you have 10,000 viewers or followers, whatever, you're going to get like $200 per post. To more than 500,000 for celebrities with millions of followers, according to Media Kicks. $500,000 for one of the Jenner girls to post something that belongs to them, or for another brand to like, hey, I want you to sell this thing. Can I pay you a shitload of money to do that? And then no one buys it. I have no more comments for that one. 500, even if you pay like, let's meet in the middle on that one, okay? 200,000, 500 or 200, $500,000. Okay, let's not get that confused. $200 on one end, $500,000 on the other end. Somewhere in the middle, we get like, let's just say we get to, I don't know, 50 grand, 100 grand. Dude, that's ridiculous. You don't know if it's working and you're paying $50,000 per post for your brand. You should read this article. It goes into a lot more, but I don't have time to like get into all the things. Hype auditor and analytics firm investigated 1.84 million Instagram accounts and found that more than half used fraud to inflate their number of followers. That's not a bombshell. It's not really a bombshell. Everyone knows that. But it is kind of lame to know that half of the people that you follow probably are like influencers, whatever, they're inflating their numbers. Which, so lame, dude. It's so lame. We scaled back paying for posts, said Matteo Del Vecchio, chief executive of Alexis Bittar's parent company, Deconic, which is owned by Brooks Brothers. I feel like I just read a sentence in another language, but it's because I'm bad at English, okay? You got me. It's difficult to quantify how that translates into sales. That's the quote. It's difficult to quantify how that translates into sales. I have a watch that tells me if I'm going to have a heart attack. I can track people with my phone places that they don't even want to be tracked to. You can do so much with marketing on social media if you didn't know that already. How is it not quantifiable that you pay that money, whatever we said earlier, 50,000, 10,000, 500,000. How can you not quantify that into sales? What do you mean? I'm pretty sure if any marketing director heard that, they'd be like, what do you mean by that? I feel like that's crazy. I feel like that's crazy to me. It just shows me like the mindless spending and there's zero strategy apparently in marketing now. Like there's zero. Like just because Grant Hill does a Sprite ad, I just dated myself. Just because Grant Hill decides to do a Sprite ad does not mean that people are going to start buying fucking Sprite. You know what I mean? Even back then, people were like, I don't care if so-and-so is in my ad. If it's a good thing, then I will buy the thing. You know, or if I'm looking for a thing, I will just find the one that makes the most sense. I can't say that often I've been like, man, this influencer, dude, she posted about Fit Tea, and if you own Fit Tea, you must be fit. You must be hella fit. This thing just like reveals the fakest part of marketing and the internet right now. And it's just so bummer. I'm going to move on to the next one. I don't want to take too much more of your time because this one you can actually apply to your life. CNBC Make It, if you don't know, is like a certain section of CNBC in general. It's not like it doesn't hang out with the cool kids on mainstream media. It's like it's its own little thing. Like it's timeless information that you can still kind of learn about, I guess. And they have a subsection on CNBC Make It called, you guessed it, millennial money. Yeah, millennial money. Fuck. I know. They found me out. They took my name. Anyway, they got these people on here for this video series about how they make and how they spend their money. So I'm going to talk about this kid. His name is Drake Pooley. All right. Drake Pooley. If you're out there and you're watching this, there's a guy right behind me. If you can't see this on the if you're listening to this, you can't see how funny this is right now. What is this guy doing? Oh my God. Drake Pooley, if you're out there and you're watching this right now or you're listening to this, thanks, man. I just want you to know that you gave me like tons of inspiration for this bit. All right. And you didn't do anything wrong. Don't worry. I'm not making fun of you yet. This kid's 23 years old. All right. He lives in New York City and drumroll please, he makes $172K per year. Bah! 172K and he's 23 years old. Bah! He's smart. I don't blame him. He works as an associate for a management consulting firm. I hope I said that right, Drake. He also has these side hustles, all right? One where he helped like revamp this like company with his dad and his uncle, essentially selling stickers and clothing with like an 80s vibe spin on it. It's called Ultra Hot. Sounds cool. He also works with Chinese students who are looking for help when navigating the American career process. I'm sure that a lot of Americans would really appreciate that, but I understand. I totally understand. I want you to see a number in your head, okay? What is he making people pay for navigating the American career process, all right? Think about it. Is it like 20 per hour? Is it like 25 per hour? Is it 35 per hour? Shit. Is it 50 per hour? No. No, my sweet souls. It's $100 per hour. With all my vast knowledge, with all my knowledge of life right now, no matter what it is, whether it's about things I actually know about, like video games, playing guitar, useless Star Wars information, no one would pay me even close to that amount of money to learn about that. $100 per hour. I don't make $100 per hour at the thing that I am really good at. Making video. I do not make $100 per hour for that. It's interesting though. It's gig economy, dude. He's like adding to the stockpile. He's smart, man. He's smart. At the end of his day, he's not like, it's done, you know. At the end of his work day, he's like, I'm gonna do more. That's nice. It's time to do more. Let's talk about this budget, okay? Drake's typical monthly budget, according to the CNBC Make It video, it's not an article, by the way, it's a video, his take home is roughly $6,500, all right? $6,500. I'm just going to pretend like the number doesn't bother me anymore. He puts about $2,700 away into savings, okay? That includes like a Roth 401k and a Roth IRA. Roth IRA. If you don't know what those things are, use the internet, okay? 401k, 401,000. No. Look it up. Seriously. All right? So $2,700 goes into savings, all right? Another $1,500, which he splits, he splits rent. $1,500 goes to, like, you know, living in an apartment. Makes sense. He lives in New York. He's a huge travel guy, so he likes to, or he roughly spends around $570 a month on travel. Loves traveling. Hey, good for you, man. Traveling is great. It's good for the mind, good for the body, good for the soul. Budgeting, he mentions, is a little difficult for food because food, you're hungry. You know what I mean? You can't just like spend less and be like, well, that's going to be okay, right? So that's tough. Spends about $500 on that, $560 on that. This is my favorite section. There's a miscellaneous section. Drake, what's that all about, huh? What are you spending $484 on miscellaneous, huh? Just like a pack of gum at 7-Eleven or whatever. Or is it something else, Drake? Because if you look at the bottom of this chart, it says miscellaneous means donations. Hey, man, good for you. Clothes. Agreed. And entertainment. Entertainment, huh? We know what that means. If you don't know what that means, then come on, get your head out of the gutter, guys. Come on. Another great tip, by the way, because this is the next section, spends about $275 paying back medical debt. One of the first things he said was you should negotiate price on medical stuff, medical procedures. I think he got like LASIK eye surgery or something like that. And he like talked the guy down like some stupid amount of money. Good to know, though. Good to know that there's no real set price. There's no like price tag. You can negotiate that stuff. I know how much these cost, these sunglasses, but I can't like walk into a sunglass hut and be like, yeah, Ray-Bans for sure. Yeah, I want those for sure. And it says like 200, 250, whatever. I don't know how much Ray-Bans are, to be honest, but it says the price, but I'm willing to pay like 100. Why don't we let me just walk with 100, huh? That seems fine, right? Doesn't work like that. The other stuff is small beans. We got $89 on subscriptions and memberships per month, remember? $80 on utilities, $70 on insurance, and another $64 roughly on transportation. All right. That's great. He's got an idea of the way that he's got a circle. You see a pie chart here of the way that he spends his money. I think you should do that too because, and I was told you I was going to talk about this later. I have anxiety. Okay. I'm just going to say that. I definitely have like a lot of anxiety, which isn't crazy. I'm okay with talking about mental health practices, as I said earlier, and how you can make yourself feel better. When I started talking to myself realistically and logistically about what I was going to do with my money when I got that paycheck or I got that direct deposit dough. As soon as I got that direct deposit, it wasn't just like spending it on whatever. I'm rich. What? Because that sucks when you get to like the final week and you're just like, I'm skating by with just the hair on my chinny chin chin right now. That's a shitty feeling when you're not saving any money. There's no thing to fall back on, you know, especially when you consider that like the average person should have like $400 in savings for any emergency, you know, the $400 emergency fund. Remember that. Check it off. Emergency fund. I'm going to give $400 eventually for that. You know, you should. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't either. So, take the percentages of things that you already know you pay. Talk about rent, talk about what your bills are generally, and just start from there, you know? There's a lot of different rules of thumb for like, how should I be spending my money? Like how do I separate those groups? How do I make the hieroglyphics make sense? You know what I mean? There's a lot. I could sit here and talk to you about them all I want, but I think that hearing it from me is okay. One of them I like a lot, and I'm going to type it in right now in my computer. They call it the 50-20-30 rule. It's a budgeting rule of thumb. Rule states that you should spend up to 50% of your after-tax income on needs and obligations that like must-haves, must-dos, that kind of thing. So 50% is needs, 30% is wants, and 20% is savings. Okay? Take-home pay in one paycheck or per month, whatever. 50% goes to needs, okay? Think about what you need. You don't need to get hammered every Friday night or go out with the girls on Thursday and get tons of alcohol, because that's, you guessed it, a problem of mine too. Paying for drinks at bars is not cheap. Shocker. Wants. Think about what you really want. Think about it. Once you've thought about it, take a deep breath and think about it some more. Okay? Because I do that all the time. I'm like, yeah, I want it. Do I have the budget for it? Is it in the budget? Hey Chase, is it in the budget? Like mental Chase, is it? Yeah? Yeah, it's in the budget? Okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to buy it. And then like a week later, I'm like, I don't fucking need this thing. And then 20% goes to savings. You can fluctuate in those numbers. You can say 35% goes to wants and 15% goes into savings. I know a lot of people my age don't save money that much, It's just the truth. But you should. I think it'll make you feel better. And I think it'll clear, if anything, 5% of your anxiety. That's chipping away at it, right? So anyway, those are the things I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys learned a little bit about who I am and what I do, what I'm trying to achieve here. And I hope that you guys laughed like once or twice. Kind of hope it was more than once or twice, but I hope you guys laughed. I hope you guys maybe learned. I hope you guys are interested. I hope maybe I sparked something inside your brain to be like, maybe I should look it up. Maybe I should think about it. Maybe I should write it down. It's okay, man. Get your fucking piece of paper out and scribble all over. Be wrong like 80 times about your budgeting ideas. And then on the 81st time, you're like, oh, yeah, I got it. So, yeah, just think about it, man. Take a deep breath, though. You're not going to be perfect at it. I was not perfect. I am still not perfect. And I've been doing this, and I've been working here at Synergy One and other lending companies since I was like 20. I think I started when I was 22 or 23. It's only like 3 or 4 years. So, it takes time, It really does. Especially if you live in California. Rent's not cheap. So, anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us, or joining me. Thank you guys for joining me, talking to myself about myself and things I need to talk about. In the future, I would really like to have people come on here and be honest about what they do and how it makes them feel. And maybe you guys can find out, too, what you might be good at, what you might not be good at, that kind of stuff. And it would be really cool if I could get some of my guests to like have a beer with me up on this little stage here, right? Like, loosen up. I know I'm wearing a tie right now. I was filming something earlier and I wanted to look good, But then I thought about it and I was like, I want to look good for my first episode, so I might just leave it on, Like, I'm wearing the suit, It is what it is. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, listening, whatever. I'll catch you guys later.